All right, guys, this is Crazy Kevin here with our host, Cory McKenna. Cory, how we doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Doing good, Cory. Cory, how you feeling right before your fight here, 1 week out?
Yeah, I'm good. Weight cut starts today. Got to get the hard part out the way, and then we're ready to go.
How many pounds do you have to cut before your weight, and how bad of a weight cut is it for you?
I'm ahead of schedule this time, so it shouldn't be too hard. I'm obviously not going to give exact figures, but it's a lot less than usual. So, more than prepared, but just going through the usual routine, and hopefully that just means it's way easier come Thursday. But we'll have to wait and see.
Now, how do you think you fare going into this matchup, and how do you think you have advantages going into this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great fight. Jacqueline's a phenomenal opponent. She's a very high level grappler, ex-LFA champ, like she got all these accolades and everything. So it's a great fight for me to be able to really test myself. Not, in all areas. She's a very game opponent. Like I say, she's got a high level skill set. So I think that will bring out my technique and my skill set also. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight. I'm confident wherever the fight goes. Like I said, obviously she's predominantly a grappler, so that's like her wheelhouse. But at the same time, most of my fights are very grappling orientated. So yeah, I feel very prepared wherever the fight goes. Obviously, I'd love to come out with a finish, but either way, I'm gonna do whatever it takes on the night to get that win.
Oh, that sounds great. And then on top of that, for your fight, you started on the Contender Series, and then now here you are fighting in the Apex again. Does it feel to fight in the Apex, and what advantages do you think you have being able to hear your coaches in the Apex?
Yeah, I actually quite like the Apex. I know it gets a lot of hate, but I do like it. Maybe it's because I'm undefeated in the Apex, but I like it. Like I say, it kind of has that a bit more. I wouldn't even say it has more of a relaxed feel, but like I say, you can hear your coaches. It's very business. Like it's in, it's out. You kind of just get in there, get the job done. So I do quite like the fact that it's straight to the point, but I don't think it makes a huge difference. Obviously, we're putting in like every fighter that you talk to is putting in hours of work a day. Um, and come fight night, we should be totally prepared to be able to fight by ourselves. The coaches are just there to kind of guide and assist. So I don't think it's like win or lose difference, but it is nice to be able to communicate with them, hear them clearly, have their guidance. And like I say, I kind of like the vibe in general. Like I say, it's just very down to business, like get it done kind of thing.
Right. Now, you're only 24 years old. We were just talking right before we started the interview. How does it feel to be in the UFC so young? And does that kind of give you any added pressure before you go into any of your matchups?
I mean, it's cool. Like, I feel like there's so many young people in the UFC now. Like, every time I watch the card, there's another like 20, 21 year old. Like, I feel like MMA, as it's become a bit more normalized, a bit more popular, like a lot more younger people have been getting into it. So I feel like this next generation of people coming through are a lot younger than they were just because of the popularity of the sport. But no, I don't feel like it adds any pressure. If anything, I feel like it takes it off because, I've already done so much for the years that I've been training, and I've got so much time ahead of me. So I don't I kind of I think pressure is almost like how you perceive everything when, within your career. So it's like I could choose to feel pressure from it, but I'm choosing not to. You know what I mean? I'm like I got plenty of time to make mistakes, improve, learn from things. So if anything, it takes the pressure off me.
Now, when it comes to a fight, after a win or after a loss, how do you go back after a fight and basically try to find ways to improve your game?
Yeah, I mean, usually we barely make it back to the hotel before my coaches have the video on.
Right.
So I mean, we tend to watch the video on fight night, then we'll pick it apart. Like my coaches will talk with me about areas that we could have done better. Then we'll go to the gym. But my kind of approach to fighting has always been very much the same. Like it's very much just making myself the best version of myself. So we're doing that like fighting aside, we're doing that in the gym every single day. You know what I mean? Like I've always got my coaches on me, like checking my technique, giving me new skills, pushing me. So like day in, day out, I'm striving to improve as a fighter. So like say obviously we take what we can from the fight, but at the same time, like move like literally I'm in the gym usually the Monday after the fight. Like we travel home Sunday. I'm in the gym Monday and we're just back to the old routine, like pushing on and improving.
Right. Now you seem like you are a lifelong martial artist. With you being a lifelong martial artist, have you been with the same coach your entire career? And if you haven't, why did you happen to change career, or why did you happen to change coaches?
I've moved gym. I've trained at a lot of different gyms, just for different experiences, different training partners. Obviously, being a female, I need like, similar sized women. But I do have one coach that has been with me from the very beginning. He does part of my management, like he's in my corner for every fight. He'll be in the corner for this fight. And he's from Colchester. He's from my first MMA gym. He's been with me from day one and he'll be with me till the end. But now I'm currently at Team Alpha Male in Sacramento training with, Uriah Faber, Danny Castillo, and the likes of those greats.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I love Uriah Faber. He's definitely one of my favorite all-time fighters. Did you happen to catch the fights last night? I know Macy Barber happened to have a good performance last night. I was curious if you happened to tune in and see it.
Yeah, Macy did great. It was a great performance for her. Very happy for her. I watched like most of the prelims and all of the main card. I was in the gym. So
No, that's awesome. Fair enough. You also happen to be the first women's fighter to get the Von Flue choke. Talk us through your thoughts after you hit that in your fight.
yeah, that was really cool. I didn't know that that was a record to be set, but I was very happy to find out that I had done so.
Right.
Like I say, that was something, like I said in the post-fight interview, that was something that I had like worked a lot in the gym and kind of struggled to actually have success with. So I feel like since doing it in the gym, I do it. Sorry, since doing it in the fight, I hit it way more frequently in the gym. So I don't know if it's just like I've just unlocked that technique. But yes, it was pretty cool. I was very excited by it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and when you started training as well too at Team Alpha Male or any of your gyms, was there any MMA fighters that maybe took you under your wing when you first started training?
Yeah, I mean, so I first started at BKK Fighters in Colchester. I was there for quite a few years. There was a bunch of Cage Warriors fighters. Arnold Allen was there. I was fortunate enough to be training with those pros. I finished school at 16, went full-time fighter. So was training with the pros, like say, there's a couple Cage Warriors guys. It was Arnold Allen. Like I had Jack Mason, the coach that has been stuck with me this whole time. So I had some like great people around me, like great people and fighters, they were like, so they really helped and kind of shaped the fighter I am today and guided me along this path.
No, that's awesome. And for when you're a young fighter, what do you think is the best martial art to train on the feet, and then for the best martial art on the ground as well?
Um, I mean, I wouldn't say I mean, on the ground, jujitsu, on the
Okay.
feet, for MMA, like on the feet, Muay Thai, because
Okay.
obviously you utilize all of your skills. Like, don't, I mean, you can succeed as a one-dimensional striker, but it's always better to have all of those skills in your toolbox when you go into a fight. So yeah, I would say probably Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu if you're looking at striking and grappling. But I do think wrestling is very important also because it dictates where the fight goes. So I probably put emphasis on wrestling as like if you're gonna pick one. Um, but yeah, it's pretty. I'm like MMA is pretty rounded these days, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't I
Yeah.
wouldn't personally pick one.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So when you're a young fighter as well too, there was a couple fighters I asked this to. When you're a young fighter and you're on the amateur scene, do you think it's really important to try and pick your matchups and to try to keep that undefeated record as much as possible, or do you think it's just kind of dive in there with anybody you can because it will make you better in the long term?
As an amateur, no, I don't think obviously you don't want people to get disheartened. I actually manage a couple of the amateurs right now. Obviously you don't want anyone to get disheartened. But at the same time, like your amateur record, once you turn pro, it doesn't mean anything. It's in the rearview mirror. It's no one cares about it. Um, I think amateur is all about experience. Like when I was amateur, like we literally we'd go through like all the top ranked girls on Tapology. We would go look at who's winning the IMMAF tournaments. Like we were purposely trying to pick out the best girls at amateur for me to fight because like especially being so young, obviously, but age aside, like we wanted to make sure that I was 100% prepared when I did turn pro. And if you don't test yourself at amateur, you're going to have a really harsh awakening when you go pro. So it's better to get that experience at amateur than go pro and then realize that you haven't actually been performing at the standard you think you have because your level of competition hasn't been there. So no, I don't think you should. Like obviously, I don't think you should be fighting a 10 fight amateur when you're debuting,
Right.
but I also don't think you should be fighting tomato cans. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. No, I agree. So when you are building your record and you are on pace to make it into the UFC or any other of the big leagues, when you officially got the call to the Dana White Contender Series, what was it like to get the call, and how did you find out?
It was stressful. We were mid lockdown,
Okay.
training in my coach's backyard in the rain. I got a text from Uriah and he just said Contender Series 3 weeks. And
Wow.
I was like, oh wow, okay. I didn't have my visa set up. He
Oh,
told
wow.
them that he goes, oh, I told Mick you have your visa, and I was like, I don't. Um, so it was pretty stressful, like trying to expedite a visa during COVID and then trying to fly during COVID. It was chaotic. Like it got to the point where had to reschedule my flight 4 times, and the UFC were basically like, if you don't get on this flight, like you don't fight.
Oh,
And
wow.
I literally like I sprinted through the airport. Like my parents met us outside. They threw me a suitcase, and I was just gone. Um, but it was so close. Like I like literally picked up my visa on the way to the airport. If the visa had been like 15 minutes later than when we got there, I literally wouldn't have made the flight. So it was probably one of the most stressful like build-ups to a fight, but I actually think that that benefited me because I didn't have time to like overthink or stress. Like I just got to the fight and I was like, at this point, nothing can go wrong. I was like, it's meant to be.
Yeah, no, that's actually a pretty crazy story. I didn't know that. And then on top of that too, when you're in the back, getting ready for a fight, I know you said you had all that chaoticness. How do you kind of prepare yourself going into a fight? Like, how do you calm yourself down? Is there anything before a fight you do, before you go out there on the cage?
I don't have anything like I don't really have like a specific routine. Honestly, I just try to warm up the same as I would in the gym just to kind of keep it like routine. But I've been fighting for nearly 10 years. My pro debut was actually like 6 years ago last week. So like I've been fighting for a very long time. So I feel like that kind of helps a little bit just leaning on that experience when it comes to like the nervousness and the jitters. But no, I don't really have anything in particular. Like I don't have like any super crazy superstitions or anything.
Okay. Do you have any go-to music though in the back you listen to?
Not really. I have a weight cut playlist, which is like all oldies. But in the back, it's basically just whatever I've been listening to throughout the fight camp. Like usually I'll get hooked on like 5 or 6 songs and I'll just that'll become my fight camp playlist. But no, I have a very diverse music taste, so it's pretty random.
But do you have what's your walkout song though for the UFC? You have to have one, right?
So I was using Chelsea Dagger by the Fratellis
Okay.
for pretty much, yeah, pretty much my entire career up until I lost at UFC London. Um, and that was just that show was like all bad for me. So I had to like everything changed after that. I was like, nope. So then I walked out to All Right by Supergrass. And then I actually changed it for this camp and I'm walking out to Dancing with Myself by Billy Idol.
Oh, I love it. There you go. That's awesome. So, with that song, you said you had to change it after your loss. Like, ever since you lost, have you listened to that song, or it's just like you can't listen to it anymore?
No, yeah, I don't. I honestly, I never really listened to it outside of fighting anyway. Like I would listen to it maybe like a week out from the fight to get me pumped, but I don't. Yeah, it ruined the song for me.
Fair enough. No, I would probably do the same for me. So after this matchup, when you get the win, is there any sort of women you're trying to eye up after this fight?
Not particularly. I mean, there's so many, there's so many high level women in the UFC right now, and I feel like a lot of us are all very much on the same level. Before this fight, when we were looking at potential girls to fight, like everyone was either booked up or had just fought. And like I feel like there's always this shuffle with the women to where it's kind of hard. Well, with anyone really in the UFC, like there's always this shuffle because everyone's fighting so frequently or they've just fought, or they're injured. So I feel like I very much just have to see who's given to me and take it from there kind of thing. But right now I'm just focusing on this girl ahead of me.
Awesome. Now, I mentioned a little bit when we were first setting up the email that I've been doing Taekwondo for about 20 years, and I've been teaching students for about 6 years at my gym, and I have about 150 students. My question to you is, with the students that come every single day, they're training to get a black belt. How do you get them to come every single day in the gym and to keep improving every single day?
Good question. I'm fortunate because I mean I teach the classes, but
Right.
at the same time, like membership retention isn't really my side of things. It's like I coach the classes, but
Right.
I it's hard. That's a hard question. I mean,
What do you do to keep
everyone has
classes fun?
I know that, yeah, I'd say keep it fun. Like it depends. Like obviously I'm teaching kids, so definitely have to keep it fun. I feel like adults shouldn't need that. Like if they're there for
Yes.
the right reasons, they've got their own motivations. Like I'm very fortunate, like I work with some of the amateur fighters, but I only work with them because I know they want to work and they want to fight, and they like, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to instill that in them because I do very much believe like it's corny when they say you can't teach heart, but you can't. Like this is one of those sports where it's brutal. Like you're literally going into a fist fight with somebody, and if you don't want to do that, I can't help you kind of thing.
Right.
So that's a very hard one. Like you say, like if you're talking just general members, like I think definitely keeping things fun, like like mixing it up so it doesn't get monotonous. Um, but it's very hard to make somebody do something they don't want. So I think just focusing on the people that do want to be there, and then maybe that would either make other people step up and work harder, or you're just going to end up with a group of people that are going to work hard and actually show up, and then the people that want to fall behind, they fall behind kind of thing.
Right. No, that's
I'm like
awesome.
I'm a little bit cutthroat. I don't know. I'm like trying to be nice. I'm just like if they don't want it, they can leave.
No, right. No, I get it. They gotta show up.
Yeah, that's it. Like you can't make someone show up, especially like
Yes.
kids is one thing, but if you're teaching adults, like you can't make someone be accountable. You can't make someone show up. You can't make somebody want something that they don't, or if they're saying they want it, you can't make them do the actions to actually support that. You can point out that they're not, and you can talk to them about it. You can like you can try to hold them accountable, but at the end of the day, grown adults are gonna do what they want to do, and sometimes they don't realize that their actions are counterintuitive to their goals, but some people need to find out the hard way.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Cory, last message to the fans that are going to be watching this, and last message about your fight coming up.
Oh, from me?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, tune into the fight. I do want to thank I've had support for this camp. Obviously, I had a year layoff with a lot of health issues. So I do want to thank like Pest Pros. They've helped me out with this camp and also helped me out around this house that I just bought. Cap City Honda. My car before my last fight didn't have door handles. Now it does, so that's great. Tommy Fightwear for keeping clothes on my back, and then yeah, I'm excited. 1 week out, gonna get this weight cut smashed, and then we're on to getting another W and hopefully being back on track.
Let's do it. Awesome. All right, Cory, thank you again for coming on. We appreciate you, and we're looking forward to your fight coming up next week.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. All right. See you later.
See you later.